Underdog by Kane Gatewood, Ved Shaw, and Tim Jung. It was a Friday, warm, sunny, early morning on October 12th. The birds were chirping, the TV was playing, and Mrs. Washington was making breakfast. 7:15 hit, and the boys, Connor and Parker, were heading down the stairs towards the kitchen to grab some waffles and sausage. The older brother, Connor, being the typical cocky high school jock, was a complete opposite of his younger brother, Parker. Connor was the popular, confident star football player who would always spend his nights and weekends in the gym. Unlike Connor, his younger brother, Parker, was a very scrawny, nerdy, shy guy with a polite demeanor. He was considered a loner that was used and bullied by many of his peers. Connor, being the athlete that he is, he then inhaled all of his breakfast and then began to wait in his 1994 Jeep Wrangler. Parker, being 120 pounds, always has to take his time eating because he is so scrawny. After a couple of minutes, Connor begins to honk his horn so he's not late to pick up his special football pregame protein shake from his friend Jake's house. Connor furiously kept honking his horn, signaling for Parker that they were getting late. Parker quickly trotted out of the house towards Connor's Jeep. The two boys carpool every day to school, and they never have much of a conversation. That is due to the fact that both boys receive scholarships, so there's a lot of competition between them. Connor received a football scholarship to the University of Oregon, while Parker received a presidential scholarship to Howard University for medicine. The Jeep turned the corner, and there they were outside of Jake's six-bedroom bungalow. All of the football seniors were outside the house smoking and socializing. Connor barked to Parker to get the shake from inside the house and come back quickly. Parker quickly returned and the boys were on their way to school. The day passed and it was sixth-period drama class for Parker while Connor was at practice. The most beautiful girl at the whole school, Liz, was in that class. She was the cheer captain and was a slim girl with dark black hair and some beautiful eyes. She was one of the most talented, hard-working people at the school. She has been recognized by the state of California for perfect attendance and straight A's in all of her classes since she was in the first grade. She has been the cheer captain on varsity all 4 years of her high school career, which has led her to be recognized by the cheer coach at the University of Oregon and Howard University. Both of the schools have offered her a full-ride scholarship for 6 years for whatever degree she wants. During fifth period drama, Parker has overheard that Liz was offered a full-ride scholarship to Howard University and wanted to talk to her personally and see if they can get closer over that conversation. Moments have passed and Parker has sat in his chair thinking about how he will approach her. He finally noticed that all of her friends were heading up on stage to perform, so this was his one and only chance to talk to her without any of her friends in the way of their conversation. He walked over and gently sat next to her in the theater and began to start talking to her about college and getting to know her just a little better. The conversation was full of little jokes, questions about each other's future, and perceptions about life. Mid-conversation, Liz invited Parker to a party she was going to have after the game if the boys ended up winning the game. Liz and Parker exchanged numbers. When class period ended, because Parker said he will give her a call if he showed up. That was Parker's first conversation ever, where he approached a girl and got her number. After school, Parker was so excited that he got her number that he ran all the way to the football practice and waited for Connor to finish up so he could tell him. Connor's practice was over about 10 minutes after school, and they were hanging out, getting ready for the game at 7 o'clock the same night. Parker then explained to Connor about how everything went down, and with Connor being jealous of his nerdy little brother getting the cutest girl in the school's numbers. He then tells Parker that after the football game, he's going to make Liz fall in love with him. 7 o'clock rolled around and the bleachers were beginning to fill up. Mr. and Mrs. Washington could not attend this game since they were out of town for the weekend to visit some family. Parker was casually sitting in the first row with his nachos and hot dog. The underspoken Parker was still a little upset at how Connor was trying to make a move on the first girl he ever tried to talk to. But Parker was trying to forget about it and just enjoy the game and support his school. The Parkview Cougars were taking on the Raging Valley Tornadoes. This season so far, Connor was passing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns a game, and had only been sacked twice. The Cougars were 4-0 so far this season. The first quarter was underway and the Cougars started off strong. Connor connected to the sophomore tight end Mark Jones for 65 yards and a touchdown. Parkview led 7-0 and the crowd was roaring with excitement. In the final seconds of the first quarter, number 30 Dave Smith picked off Tornadoes quarterback Eric Hill, and the score was now 14-0 at the end of the first. Connor was getting hydrated on the sideline when he noticed Liz fixing her outfit. Connor darted towards her. Connor started to talk to her in a semi-flirtatious way. He told her he thought that she was the most beautiful cheerleader and that she was the most talented. She gave him a sort of annoyed look and that she was in a hurry. All she replied with was thanks, and she went back to the other cheerleaders. Now the only thing that was on Connor's mind was to win the game so Liz can throw the after party. The second quarter was basically a stalemate because both sides were playing very poorly. Connor fumbled the ball at their own 10-yard line, which resulted in the Tornadoes kicking a field goal to make it 14-3. And right before the half came to an end, Tornadoes returner Brad Fuller took the kickoff to the house, and the score was 14-10 at halftime. Connor was upset with himself and his team for the lack of putting up any points in the quarter. Liz ran to the concession stand to grab a bite to eat, and Parker, noticing her, also goes over there. He starts having a conversation with her about the game. They both express their disappointment and start talking about the classes that both of them have. Connor, meanwhile, is also heading to the food booth to pick up some Gatorade for the second half. Connor notices his brother talking to Liz and sees how both of them look happy and are having a good time in line. Connor approaches Parker angrily and tells him to get out of here. Parker tries to mumble something to his brother, and Connor slaps him across the face and yells to get out. Parker picks his head up, sobbing in embarrassment, and jogs away. Liz is completely quiet. She drops everything that she was doing and just stares at Connor in full disappointment. Connor thinks he's really cool being a typical jock. He then begins to keep trying talking to Liz and make a good conversation. Liz then begins to get more angry, so she flipped her hair and stormed out of line. With everyone looking at Connor and Liz, Connor then yells out, "See you later, babe," just to break that awkward barrier with everyone and continue to look cool. The second half is about to begin. The score was 14-10, and the Cougars were winning. Connor and the boys came out very strong and held everything down for the team. They ended up winning the game with a score of 28-10. Even though Liz was upset with Connor, she kept her promise to the football team and threw the after party. Connor knew that he was not welcome, but his ego told him to show up to the party anyway. Parker never showed up to the party, even though he promised Liz that he would be there. Liz confronted Connor about being so mean to Parker and asked where Parker is. Connor was confused and scared. He did not know where his brother was, nor will he ever know.